team. Melbourne United, one of the best defensive teams in the competition, but the Crocs have had their way with them, averaging...
The Snakes.
The Snakes.
Different animal.
How am I going? The Snakes, they're down...
Same reptiles.
The Cairns Taipans. No, the Cairns Taipans. They're averaging 110. Yeah. 110 points against the best defensive team. This has been Melbourne United's kryptonite, and Adam Ford looking to continue that journey.
Copes, we're talking about it being fascinating tonight. It's going to be fascinating to see how Tajir McCall is played. He's been one of their stars for the last 2 seasons. He played 8 minutes last week against Perth, and it's been one of the hottest topics of the week.
It has been, and the rumor is they're just not getting along up in, up in Cairns. So it'd be interesting to see if he comes in, plays hard. This could be his last game in Cairns. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I'd love to see him get out there and give it his best.
Let's take a look. Last week, Drew. Yeah. As we say, it was 8 minutes, but it was also probably the body language that told a lot of the story.
No, well, clearly something's going on. There's been a disagreement, and Adam Ford's making a statement, setting the standards, and it's easy to do when the season had passed them by as far as the play-ins or playoffs are concerned. But I think we'll see that hopefully it was just one of those ones where you have a bit of a disagreement, and maybe we see a little bit more from him on their home deck. That
man on screen, to quote Damon Lowry, is the backyard bully, and he has bullied Melbourne United in the 2 games this season.
He's been fantastic. 31 and 32 points against some of the best guards in the league, Dellavedova and Shea Ely, but he's just been strong in the way he gets to the basket, pulls up for his jump shot. He's just super smooth with it. Strong body, had plenty of confidence, Drewy. When he came to Melbourne, he was on fire, passing the ball around, but 31 points against these type guards, defensive guards, is just great.
And one thing they have been able to do, it's just not with Miller, what he's been able to do, and he has been spectacular. He loves seeing a Melbourne United jersey, shoots the 3, can get to the paint, but down the other end of the floor as well, they've caused some problems for Melbourne United. And Matthew Dellavedova, we don't talk about him as much as we have in the past, but he's putting together a solid season, a leader in the competition in assists, and defensively we know what he can do at the highest level. So he's been great, as has Joe Luala-Chul, albeit that he's missed 6 or 7 games this season.
He's had a big impact since he's come back.
He has. He's averaging 16 points a game. And in particular, that game against Brisbane when he was just on fire, unstoppable. This lineup is the best lineup in the NBL, and that's the reason why they're on top.
There is the Melbourne United starting lineup. Shea Ely starting again tonight. Luke Travers, Chris Golding, and there is Bobby Clintman.
Yeah.
The last time that we'll see him, most likely here in the Hungry Jacks NBL, Tajir McCall is in the starting lineup, certainly, as we can see there, which is a change from last week. Taron Armstrong, Sam Wardenberg, and Pat Miller alongside there.
Yeah, I always expected this coming back, particularly when you're coming home. He's very much a favourite amongst fans as well.
Joy, question for you.
Please.
Now, Melbourne United have first place sewn up.
Yes.
Do you play your stars the whole game, or do you...
I think my word you do, because you've got a long break coming up. You've got the FIBA break, plus they've also got to wait for the play-ins to finish before they get to their semi-final action. So you don't want to have your players sitting on the sidelines and not having these intense, realistic battles for that period of time. So I suspect that Dean Vickerman will treat this as very much a regular game, that they want to do whatever they can to win.
They play Sunday against Illawarra, their last game of the regular season. As you saw, they've already sewn up top spot. The officials tonight, Nico Fernandez, Ken Widgeon, and the best arms in the NBL, Mark Mill.
Solid.
Friday night hoops. Actually, second best arms. Pat Miller probably takes that prize. Here's Taron Armstrong. Out for Wardenberg. Was good against Perth last week. That one well short.
Well, he's on fire. And they've gone to him the first play just to see if he could carry over that hotness that he had in last week's game.
Armstrong flies to the other end. A hard landing. Travers went up and challenged him. It was fine from Illy. Luala-Chul fouled over the back.
Dangerous proposition if you get into this transition game with Melbourne United, because if they get the stop, they are quick.
Well, you say that about any other team, but when you're playing against the Cairns Taipans, you have your number. It might be the other way around, you.
Well,
Melbourne may not want to get into a running match with Cairns if they're on their game. They scored, remember, they scored 115 points in that first game and 98 in the second game, Jack. So who's to say who needs to be running and who needs to be slowing that thing down?
Well, if you look at those games, it sort of answers your own question. But Cairns Taipans, they want to get out and run because they've been able to put some points on the board, and they'll be running to Hungry Jacks after this one. Code is GRIP. Grab yourself a free burger. That'll up the tempo to get to a Hungry Jacks. The whole state of Queensland, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Tucking in burgers.
Even the crocodiles.
Yeah, even in Townsville, you can go along and have a Hungry Jacks burger.
Shout out to Crocs fans. I got excited for a minute there.
Oh, Jury.
Luke Travers with the rebound.
What made me think of the Crocs when I saw that?
Had his pocket picked by McCall. Better energy upstairs for Clintman. It almost worked. It could be one of those nights for Cairns. They might try a few things and could be a whole lot of fun in the process. This time McCall with a fall away. Foul.
Hurry, 34.
Clintman.
Underneath, just going hard at the boards. You love to see that from the young fella, getting after it, getting aggressive. Real interested to see where he's going to land in the NBA. I've heard different things, different feedback. Some really buoyant about him, others thinking, well, he's going to be a prospect, but how high he goes remains to be seen.
Number 21 in the last ESPN mock draft about 3.5 weeks ago, Bobby Clintman. He's got all the assets. Been fun to watch this season. His hands full here with Lawala Chul. He's pretty well to stay in front. Travers put that away.
When was the last time we played 2 minutes and no scores? 0 of 5 for the Taipans. 0 of 2.
And Clintman scores.
There we go.
Opening bucket of the night. 3-point opportunity coming up next. Derek Rucker courtside at the Cairns Convention Centre. D-Ruck, good evening.
Good evening, Jack, Drew, and Coach. Well, we know that the Cairns Taipans are not one of the better offensive teams in the league. In fact, they're number 9 in the competition, but they fared very well this season against Melbourne United. This game's going to come down to who can put the ball in the bucket. Melbourne United, very methodical offensively, but they're off to a slow start here. A little bit of nerves, a little bit of tightness, and just they look a little bit carefree at the moment.
That's better.
It's a lovely pass by Shea.
What is, and I reckon the focus for Dean Vickerman, he would not be happy giving up 115 and then 95 against the Cairns Taipans. And we know that this is an elite defensive team. In fact, the best defensive team in the competition.
I just feel like Dean's one of those coaches. Yes, he wants to win, but more importantly, he may want to fix some things and prepare for the playoffs because he knows it's coming up.
Big call with a strong rebound. Pass is knocked out of play. What needs to be fixed, Coach? It's interesting talking about a team who's finished on top, but where you're talking about the things that need to be fixed.
Well, I mean, there's nothing in particular, but I mean, to give up that many points against Cairns,
yeah,
that certainly would be the focus. Let's shut the offensive stuff down from Cairns and see if we can't hold them to a certain amount of points.
Clintman steps into the 3. He's got all 6 of their points to start this game.
Some teams just have your number. I mean, you look at Illawarra playing Perth last night.
Dellavedova, a tough move.
Well, that's a good point, Coach, because, gee, the Hawks have had the Wildcats number all season. 3 wins, and not just run-of-the-mill wins, solid double digits. What was it, 2 18-point wins and 16 last night, so that's a decent margin.
Played that way last night as well. Played like winners from the open tip.
It's beautiful to see.
Wardenberg puts the ball on the floor, fouled and one.
This could be one of those games, if the numbers get up and Cairns are rolling, I don't know if Dean will play his guys.
Here it is, gives up the middle. That's a clear foul by Lawala Chul, and you've got to respect it. This is what's going to test it. Normally, Joe Lawala Chul, you know, he can slide his feet and keep him in front, but that time he had to close out based on what Wardenberg's been doing.
19 points last week against Perth. He was +3 in that game in a pretty heavy loss. He was the only player with a positive plus-minus, so shows his contribution.
He was 8 of 7, just the efficiency.
7 of 8?
7 of 8.
7 of 8. It's been a long day.
Have you been drinking?
It's been a long day.
I mean, you've never drunk, but
No.
have you started tonight?
Yeah, it's just not coming together.
Clark subbed into the game. Hook Porty out there as well for Melbourne. Travers is fouled.
That is a great drive. Strong drive. Use that left.
Okay. Now, you want to? No. First one, no.
And we got to say no bull call tonight and no gap for Cairns as well. So those are two guys that sort of did a little damage to Melbourne United last time.
Some bone bruising in the foot for bull quals. Bobby Clinton sits down. 6 points early on. Offensive rebound by Hook Porty. United can reset. Golding thought there was contact. Nothing doing from the officials. McCall drives and scores. Better energy from the Taipans than what there was last week.
Much better.
Lead by 5 at the Cairns Convention Centre.
And there's another guy, Josh Roberts, who hadn't played a lot this year for Cairns, but was magnificent against him in Melbourne. I think he was 8 for 9 and
23, I think it was, in that game, and just put on a show. And he's had inconsistent minutes throughout the course of the season.
Something like look like transition fair. No, not to me. Okay, all good. Blue, 43.
Just checking and good communication for the officials, see if there needed to be some type of transition foul, that perhaps there might have been an upgrade. Zone defence. Haven't seen a lot of zone defence from Melbourne United all season.
Something that he may want to look at. Exactly.
Matt Mahan straight into the game. His 3 rattles out. It's a chance to explore some things. Travers coast to coast. What about that finish?
He just reminds me of Sam McKinnon, Joy. That slow take down the floor and then explodes and gets to the basket and jumps so high.
You got a bit to do to get to Sam McKinnon. You're talking about one of the greats of the league, but you're right. The way in which he plays, there are some parallels that can be drawn.
For the youngsters watching at home, if you haven't seen a lot of Sam McKinnon, Hook Porty off the lob.
I don't know if there's a better alley-oop passer in traffic than Matthew Dellavedova. He's got really good touch on those passes. And he's under a little bit of pressure, but timing's everything. And he makes it look pretty easy.
Drew, you weren't too bad yourself.
Thank you, bro.
You want to give you a little love, you know.
11-10. Taipans lead by 1. Snooze timeout. Pre-game, Derek Rucker caught up with Taron Armstrong and spoke about the love that they've received all season from Taipans fans.
How have you enjoyed this first season in Cairns with such enthusiastic fans? The energy's always great in here. Overall, how's it been for you lifestyle-wise?
Yeah, awesome. I love playing here. The fans have been great, especially, within a losing season, to have fans continue to turn up, and we've been up and down, but they've been more consistent than us. So I'm really grateful for that. I know the rest of the guys are really grateful, and it's an awesome place to play.
And tonight's a season farewell to these home fans. What are you guys looking to achieve other than the win?
Yeah, they deserve a really good performance. They deserve our best effort. So, I know I'm going to, but I hope the collective group can just play really, really hard and, lay it all out there, give them something to cheer about, because they obviously deserve it.
And they're going to see a lot more of Taron Armstrong in the future on the contract for next season. He and Sam Wardenberg, and Adam Ford kind of touched on that last week after the Perth loss and said that that's the direction of where it's all going.
It is, and he's improved throughout the course of the season as he's adjusted to the NBL competition level. And also, he's been rewarded. The Boomer squad for the Asia Cup qualifiers. Taron Armstrong's been named in that team, so that'll give him a taste of international basketball as well. So that should do his confidence a whole lot of good.
Last 6 games, averaging 25 minutes a game, so Adam Ford. He's been using him a lot more than he had earlier in the season. As Golding picks up his second foul.
Yeah. He wasn't happy with that one, was he?
No. You generally know what he's thinking, judging by his body language. It's fine from a call for Roberts.
I still think Roberts could be a third import for somebody in this league.
Yeah, when he's got some minutes, he's shown that he can be used. It's no doubt about that. And the other thing it also showed is that you get that ball into the middle of that zone, that free throw area. Good things can happen when you go inside out against a 2-3 zone.
Less than 4 minutes to play in the opening quarter. And again, this time it's Mayen backdoor. Not first time, not second time.
No. He's come down awkwardly. Might have just rolled his ankle. But I like the passing by the Cairns Taipans. They're getting in there, making the extra pass.
13-10, Derek Rucker courtside.
An early report, Andrew, you mentioned about the body language of McCall over the past couple of games. He looks a lot better out here today. Back to more what we've seen and expected from him. Also, Melbourne United, outstanding defensively. Drew, I actually had 4 guys in my Defensive Player of the Year nominations. I had the 2 bigs, Shea Illy and Luke Travers.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's true, and you could possibly throw in there Matthew Dellavedova. Like I said, I don't think he's at the same level he was previously, but I think it might get lost because Shea Illy's doing such a great job and might have the more tougher assignments. Matthew Dellavedova wouldn't look completely out of place in that list as well, Derek.
That's correct. But what I like about Delly, though, he may not have the same impact defensively now, but that's to be expected. He's getting older. But, Drew, what he's really improved upon is his offensive floor game. You mentioned his lob threat earlier, but the way he directs this Melbourne United offense is far better than the Delly we saw 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's another very solid point. You're in form, Derek. I like it.
Drew, let me ask you a question.
Come on,
will Delly get a shot at the Olympics or no?
I think he'll be in consideration, particularly said with Dyson Daniels, a question mark about him with the cartilage injury. There we see a moving screen, and that's, you just cannot budge. And sometimes it's not the screener's fault. It's the player coming off the screen that's really causing it. So he hands it off, and then he rolls straight into him. You can't do that. And then maybe another one just on the moving screen coming back. So it shouldn't come as a surprise when those calls are being made.
The Taipans have led for most of this first quarter. You call spinning, weaving, creating, foul, and one.
That's the McCall we're used to.
Here it is. Looks him. The spin. It's almost like he feels so much more comfortable no matter what the circumstances if he does a spin once he gets into the paint. And he spins, doesn't get anything out of it, and it's a little fadeaway that eventually gets the defense off balance.
He's got 7 points. He's now the game's leading scorer. A week is a long time in basketball.
Different story than last week, wasn't it?
Porty lost possession. Cairns come up with it. They lead by 8. And they've got an appetite for more. Klintman, look out!
He got a flat tire trying to go up, but still was able to tuck it in. And this is some concerning signs for Melbourne United. Full credit to the Taipans, 20 points. They're getting the scoreboard ticking over. But what about the defense to hold this very potent United team to only 10? Ooh, just made it, Coach.
Problem with playing like this is other teams are watching. Okay, Melbourne United have been great the whole year, but if one team can shut you down, if I'm coaching against you, I'm going to watch all 3 of the games and see what happened.
We'll get back to that point in a second. Pre-game, Ruck caught up with one of the stars of Melbourne United, Matthew Dellavedova.
with such high expectations on this team coming into the season, do you feel like the team has reached its potential, or what capacity do you feel like you guys are operating at the moment?
I think, as you know, there's been a lot of guys in and out of the lineup all year, and I think everyone's done a good job of stepping up when their time has come. But I think, you know, getting everyone back healthy, you know, we're still continuing to find better and better rhythm. So, yeah, we want to keep improving as the season goes on.
And did you watch the live stream of fellow St. Mary's alum Jock Landale over the week? His jersey is now up in the rafters.
Big congrats to Jock. Very well deserved. Didn't get to watch it, but saw some cool photos. So good job, Jock.
That was very cool during the week, wasn't it? Jock Landale, congratulations.
Even more special, did you see Jock Landale with the Houston Rockets after training get the Australian rules football out?
Yeah.
One end to the other, kicked it, nothing but net, coach.
I saw that. I saw that.
Oh, I love it.
Had a little dance afterwards as well.
Don't know how many goes it took him to get it, but there was sweet action.
You ever tried that?
Yeah. No, we've done it before.
Oh, have you?
Because when you grow up playing Australian football.
Flynn Cameron whistles that loose ball back and then plays it up.
Strong,
True contact. Dean Dickerman, the body language was pretty stern during that timeout.
And you know how it is, Jack, when you're playing against a team and the win doesn't really mean much. You're on the road. And that's what Dean's trying to avoid.
Strong rebound by Roberts.
That complacency. Guys,
Nanga, nice move. Gets it to drop over hook Porty.
He's selling candy. Nice little fake. And comes back, and not only is it maybe a little complacency by United, it's the nothing to lose of the Cairns Taipans as well. They're coming out here playing loose, just letting it flow. Things are coming to them. And it's been an outstanding first quarter by the Taipans. Look at this. Boop. Cutter. See you later. Comes back on the left.
Took him to the candy shop.
That's it.
Derek Rucker.
Andrew, you played up here. You know what it's like traveling here. You probably had to pull coach from down out of the pool
Here we go.
on game day.
Here we go.
You know, you lose focus sometimes you get up here. When you get up here, coach is thinking about what's popping after the game, thinking you're going to get an easy win. Then they tip it off, and it's not like what you thought.
Yeah.
Hey, Derek, I didn't lose in Cairns, bro. Just calm
You got
down.
Anthony Stewart was all up in your grill, and you're nervous because you know he's up in your stuff. And Brad Davison used to come in and lock you up.
The good thing about it is we got record. You can go to the internet and check the records, Jack. Cairns, let me tell you something, bro. Drop 30.
You done?
No, not done for the rest of the night. Drop 30 and have me a little drink.
5 on the shot clock. Clark, 1 remaining. Oh, foul. Joe Luala-Chul was pushed.
He was. I think it was Meninga, was it?
You've got what? Called them 34. Okay, yeah, I've got 3 in the back, so you got 34. Okay, yeah.
Clinton.
That'll be
34.
Bobby Clinton's third.
Gee, I thought it was...
One referee had number 3, the other one had
Meninga.
34. Come on, just give it to number 3.
Sub, come in.
Let's have a look.
Have a blow.
Oh, he held him, but he got pushed. They both had it. They could have... They both fouled him.
Yeah.
I guess the hold came before the push. So Bobby's going to have a spell.
That's a shame in his farewell game.
Scouts in the stands. Let Bobby go off, bro.
Luala-Chul Jr. backing in on Armstrong. Plays through the contact. It doesn't drop.
He's a tough cover. They sent a double team down, but it really wasn't all that effective.
Well, if you haven't got tickets by now to No Bull, then we haven't been listening to us for the last 6 or so weeks. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, Luke Longley in Australia.
Yep.
Scan the QR code or jump on the website. Shane Jacobson hosting.
Yep.
No Bull.
Speaking of Mark Brecky this morning, as I took care of him on the golf course, he was saying Yeah, he's purchasing tickets and going along, so it should be a great night.
And he's really good friends with Luke. And Luke are really good friends, I think.
Yeah, very tight.
Yeah. 25-12. Cairns continue to have their way. The Illy quickly scores at the other end. And it's been a lot of fun watching the Taipans in this first quarter.
Now, because Melbourne finished in first, how long before they play? We got the 10-day break?
Yeah, and then pretty lengthy break, yeah.
And then another couple of days.
Depending on what happens with the playing games. But yeah, they could have at least a couple of weeks off from now. Now they have got the game on Sunday. Let's not forget they got the Illawarra Hawks, and that will be an interesting contest. They're going to be a lot tougher. You see, Dean Vickerman's got a level of intensity that he's not going to lay down. But that game on Sunday against the Illawarra Hawks, the Hawkies can breathe a little easier after an outstanding win. And what a turnaround for the Hawks. Congratulations to that organisation, and well done the fans turning out for that all-important game against Perth last night.
What a story that is.
It's a great story.
12-6 he was. 12-6 for Justin Tatum since he took over.
There might be another couple of chapters before it's all said and done. Menenga from Wardenberg, I should say, from Sam Wardenberg!
Why not? Why not?
It is all happening for the Taipans in their last game of the regular season. Nothing but cotton from halfway.
We love it, don't we love it?
28-15. The Taipans are having a whole lot of fun at the Convention Centre. This is Friday Night Hoops. It's Cairns' last game of the NBL24 season, and they have got absolutely nothing to lose, and they're playing that way at the moment. They lead 28-15 over the ladder-leading Melbourne United, including that half-court bomb from Sam Wardenberg on the quarter-time buzzer.
Beautiful shot. And these guys, Drew, they want to get the win, man. I mean, the fans deserve it. They know it. They've had an up-and-down season.
But they play with a free mind because of their circumstances, the situation. There's still enough talent out here for the Cairns Taipans that they can trouble anyone in the competition, and they're playing freely.
Ian Clark starting the second quarter, crosses over. What a finish from Ian Clark. His first bucket of the night.
Smooth, Jack.
And you know, Melbourne, they've had some problems on the road. They've lost the first half in 6 of their last 7 away games. So it's they've had some challenges getting on the road.
Armstrong turns the corner, scores over the top of Flynn Cameron. Points just keep coming for the home team.
Well, that's the thing that sticks out, is the defense here is not at a championship level right now for Melbourne United.
Or at Dean Vickerman level. He's all about that defense.
Mid-range from Clark, back-to-back buckets. Derek Ruckett courtside.
Well, a big glaring concern is Melbourne United 1 of 7 from the free throw line. And then their transition defense just presenting too many opportunities as Miller lines another one up from the corner. Dean Vickerman right now is pulling his hair out as they go down 14.
Well, it's not just the free throw line, 1 of 7 like you mentioned, but 0 of 5 from the three-point line as well, as Daly gets into the paint with a floater, and they're just out-hustled. Very lackadaisical defensive transition by Melbourne United.
I've called it, Drewy. I don't know if they want to be here tonight. I don't know if they want to.
It's a floater. We're sort of there. We're hanging around, but oh no, just outrun, and there's a goaltender.
Tajir McCall set the check back in. Played 8.5 minutes in the first quarter, which is more than he played for the entire game last week.
And he was good that first quarter. He got going.
7 points, a couple of rebounds and 3 assists to go with it. Time Wallachul got a hand in the way.
Yeah, Adam Ford.
I didn't see him pushing. I just saw you throw it out of bounds.
There you go.
No. Let him know, bro.
Let's just see if he gets pushed. Oh, no. Yeah, there's a nudge. There's a nudge, but I think it's the right call.
Yeah, it's the right call.
Adam Ford in the background there when Wardenberg caught it top of the key.
It was taken.
Just wanted him to let it fly.
You gotta love coaches like that. You gotta love them. Oh.
Sheer strength from Pat Miller. He and Dellavedova continue to go at it off the ball.
I think Delhi just had a few words to say to Miller. And Miller didn't take too kindly to it, but one player that has said, hey, I'm going to carry this team right now, and that is Ian Clark. He
6
is,
second quarter points.
that's it, 3 of 7. He is taking matters into his own hands.
Taron Armstrong lets it fly. Game high 15-point lead for the Taipans. It's happening again.
And Dean Vickerman will not be happy with this.
Chul left that one off the front of the rim. 5-on-4 for the Taipans. They push it in transition. Basket won't count.
Ian Clark out of position, and as well recognised, they throw it up there. And Ian Clark just using his experience, sacrifices the foul.
I don't know. But what I'm saying is,
was it the first hit or was it the second one?
that's a very good question, 40. I can't have you. That's just providing information. Let's go.
Delhi was there just holding his ground, and that's where it can get hard. You got Paddy Miller on the box and hits a big unit, nuggety, big, solid unit. Does Delhi have to flop? What does he have to do, Coach?
Well, you just let him play, man. 2 grown men. Let him go,
What
bro.
they did do.
Nice pass, McCall. What a find for Roberts.
Great pass by McCall. He's focused today. He is.
40-23 at the Cairns Convention Centre. 2 wins already against Melbourne. Cairns are in great shape to make it a 3-0 sweep. Long way to go in the game, though. Dellavedova off the side of the backboard. McCall surveys his options. Guarded by Kyle Bowen. Step back in the mid-range. Australia's anchored to 7 points. Bowen can't convert other end, and then McCall threw it to no.
Well, I think there's two plays where you take a look at the Harvey Norman replay. Roberts, great pass and strong finish. Big fella does what he's supposed to do. Goes up with the two hands, stuffs it in very nicely. But Tajir McCall, not sure 40 have been happy with the shot down the other end, and then the turnover down this end. Not a good sequence of play for Tajir McCall.
Krebs is sent packing by Wardenberg. The energy from the Taipans is infectious. And Kyle Bowen called for a foul.
Blue 14.
Derek Rucker.
Well, now Melbourne United's whole position has taken on a different complexion, Coach, because, you know, if things don't go to plan in this game and they can't cut into this deficit, and it doesn't look like they've got the energy to do it right now, and then all of a sudden you go back home and you play Illawarra, that starts to be dicey. Then you're going into the FIBA break, and you're not playing well at all. You know, what type of mental impact does that have on a team like Melbourne United? Because we all need to feel success. We all need to feel victories.
Absolutely, Derek. You're 100% right. And I suspect Dean Vickerman will have choice words for this team at halftime. Because it ain't about the wins or losses. It's about how you're playing and the energy that you're bringing to it.
That's right. And they do have two cracks at this weekend as Miller goes in and gets to his spot. And
let's get counts.
There's nothing right now that Melbourne United can look at and gain any confidence. They're getting everything they want, the Cairns Taipans, on the offensive end. They're shooting at 58% from the, 48% from the field, 40% from the three-point line. And you saw Miller there just get to his spot with relative ease. And down the other end, they are having all sorts of problems. 4 turnovers, 0 of 6 from threes, 1 of 7 from the free throw line, and 11 of 28 at 39%.
It'll make you wonder where this has been from Cairns in the last 4 games. That losing margin in their last 4 has been an average of 18 points.
One of the most inconsistent teams in the league. I spoke about this earlier today. Yes, they got a young team, and they're going to be inconsistent, and they've had different lineups throughout the year, and they've had injuries. So, in a way, they have some excuses, but they can show that they show that they can play with the best team in the league, and they've done it twice already, 3 times.
So why doesn't it happen more often then?
That's a hard one. Inconsistent. I don't know, Joel. You tell me.
Well, don't forget, every team can have that bogey team. We spoke about it with Perth Wildcats, and I think we're just looking at this in isolation. You've got to keep it in the context of what's happened throughout the course of the season, where the Cairns Taipans have been good. The matchups, the personnel, for whatever reason, you can have that from time to time. And so far, Melbourne United have not had the answer. And as I said, to me, the thing that sticks out the most is the points the Cairns have been able to put on the board. And they're doing it again tonight. We've still got 5 minutes to play, and they've given up 43 points.
Across the season, they only average 87 points allowed per game, Melbourne.
About 110 against Cairns.
115 and 95 are the 2 Cairns scores. And the 2 games so far, Golding needs a tiny bit of space. Hasn't scored as yet, 0 of 3 for the night. Back up top to McCall. Guarded by Hook Porty. There's the spin. Couldn't finish off the window. Kept alive, though, by Miller. McCall loses possession.
Just their energy level is way above Melbourne United's. And Derek spoke about it. Derek said that they just didn't look like they had the energy, like they don't want to be there.
A snooze timeout, 43-23. It's a 20-point lead to the Cairns Taipans. It is a dead rubber as far as Melbourne's concerned, but from a Cairns point of view, we mentioned that they're pretty keen to go out with a bang, and so far, so good. Adam Ford will be delighted with what he's seeing from his men tonight, and certainly the energy and the body language is a whole lot better than what it was last week. Let's take a listen to Dean
I like
Vickerman.
the last couple of possessions defensively. Stay down on that one, eh? It's such a difference. All right, good box out down there. Come up with that loose one, all right? Much better. Down here, CG, let's get you involved. Let's go. Early back cut right now. Let's put him in Spanish, all right? He's going to set this one well, eh? Go ahead and get out of it right now. Get on the rim. Our long possessions are being good. All right, CG spacing after the Spanish. Hey, we got to walk into the locker room. Under 10 right now. Let's go. 4 minutes.
That's a lofty goal based on the way the game has been going, but you got to set those targets.
What are you saying? They can't do it?
Well, I'm just saying it's a lofty goal because it's the way the game has unfolded. It's got to be a quick change of behaviour and stops. And then
energy level.
Yeah, I think that accompanies stops, and then how in which you can try to get that scoreboard ticking.
And we got to get him going, like Dean said. You got to get him going. He's got to knock down a couple of shots here. So.
Tick down to 4 minutes before half-time. Everyone left Shea Ili alone.
Good fake. They'll bid on the fake by Ili.
It's interesting, that discussion that Ruck brought up earlier about form, and you two played in a lot of postseason action. You're very well placed to talk about that confidence level going into the back end of a season.
You definitely want to be playing your best basketball at this time. I mean, even though they got a break coming in, I want to be full of confidence when this break happens. So when your training sessions can be at another level, getting ready for the playoffs.
That's true, but you're never going to. This is an experienced group. They're never going to overreact to any one particular result. But as much as the coaches and the staff prepare you for a game like this, the players know that they've locked up first, and it's sometimes difficult to recreate the intensity that you need to do, no matter what the coach says.
But the best teams do it. The best teams do it.
Of course they do.
Travers no good. Off the back of the Menenga three. He steps up for a second. That time short. Here's Golding trying to lay it up and opens his account for the night.
That's a good old Andrew Gaze shot right there.
What are you talking about?
Standing at half court, waiting on that long pass. That's what I'm talking about.
And Miller responds at the other end, pushes that lead back out beyond 20.
I'm sure Derek remembers that.
Jeez.
Deep from Pat Miller.
There's a jump ball, I think they called in the possession arrow. Stays with Melbourne United.
Waterberg comes out. Josh Roberts back in. Derek Rucker.
Andrew, I'm not sure if you're a regular viewer of Moments That Matter, but one of the things I talked about with Jack last Sunday was the body language of McCall, and it is way better. But also his sidekick Miller, I thought at critical points in the Perth game, he didn't have enough of an impact, and you just gotta take a chance as a leader. And you can see the difference when those two guys are popping, playing with energy, playing with push. This Cairns Taipans team can beat anybody, but we just haven't seen it consistently.
No, spot on. Miller, you just look at his numbers against the Wildcats. He had the 25 points and looked strong, but you're right. Sometimes here you see a little discussion between Adam Ford and Miller, and you just wonder what's going on between him and some of the players. And sometimes you can read way too much into it. You see it, and it might look on the sideline that, well, there's a bit of animosity. Here you see Paddy Miller's numbers at 13 points, 5 of 10. But when you're internally, you go, well, what do you mean? That's how they communicate. That's just the way they interact. We don't see the sort of Travis Kelce type stuff where there's a push and shove. Now, that's clearly nothing more when we saw with Travis Kelce in
Still a lot of love there, though.
Super Bowl. It's a lot of love when you get the win at the end of it and you're putting on the championship rings, but didn't look all that good. But Miller's has looked good. See that? No one running at him. It's just conceding, well, let's just hope he misses. And he's not missing.
And that's not a Melbourne United style of play. when a guy can stand there and shoot a wide open shot without anyone running at him. Just that's not how they play.
That's true.
Well and truly leading this second quarter, 21-12. The Harlem Globetrotters are coming to Australia in 2024. It's a very good birthday present for someone if you haven't taken care of that. You can check it out on the website or scan the QR code.
Some of the greatest family entertainment you'll ever want to see in the world. Even if you're not necessarily an avid hoops fan, you don't need to be. They just put on a tremendous show with their skill and their comedy routines.
Earlier tonight, the New Zealand Breakers winners over the Brisbane Bullets. We'll talk more about the ladder. It's fine for McCall. How it all looks and what it all means.
Wow, this is starting to get messy now for Melbourne United.
It's a big concern for them right now. 13 of 35 from the field. It's being outplayed.
.28 points, and we've got a minute and 56 seconds remaining in the second quarter. We were on track for one of the, if not the lowest halves of basketball from Melbourne United in a very long time.
There's an interesting stat, bottom part of your screen. The Taipans have never had a clean series sweep over Melbourne United.
What was the number? I think they've won 4 out of the last 5.
Yes, sir.
So it goes beyond just this season as well.
The interesting thing, Copes, is something you touched on earlier. What would Perth be thinking watching this? They're second on the table. There's a high possibility they play each other if they all win their way through in a championship series, or even Tasmania. What are the opposition teams thinking watching this right now?
You just try to mimic yourself and try to find a way to play like Cairns are playing. High energy, shut down Golding, the best shooter in the league.
Well, if anyone can relate to what's going on with Melbourne United, it's the Perth Wildcats, that they had their team last night, and they'd be saying, we feel your pain, Melbourne United, based on what happened this year against the Illawarra Hawks. But I don't think other teams would be reading too much into this one.
Well, they're watching. You better believe they're watching.
Of course they are, and I think your point is valid, that they'll be going through the tape and trying to figure out what it is the Cairns Taipans have done.
Why Cairns have so much success against Melbourne United.
But Melbourne United, like I said, they've got another crack at it this weekend, just to right that ship, because your point is very valid. You don't want to go in to a final series dropping 2 games.
And having to wait 10 or 12 days before you play again, so.
Good.
McCall, the pass inside was spot on for Roberts, who couldn't score from underneath. Travers coast to coast for Lawalachuk.
Would there be any concern from Bickerman, though? Because he doesn't seem too fired up on the sideline. Yeah, we've seen him.
Not right now. I think, like I said, at the end of the weekend, they've dropped 2, then he might just be a little agitated. And you know, we're talking like this one's in the bag. There's still a lot of basketball to play, and you've got one of the better teams, well, the best team on the regular season. So certainly a long way to go. So if you're Melbourne United fans, don't think that this one's over by any stretch.
Sam Menenga, I should say, hit 6 threes when they played in round 9. That's his second of the first half.
Heard 40 in the end, so that you want to run this down probably to around that 6 seconds before you're going to start fouling. I'll get down to the 9. So they take it from the sideline, pick and pop.
That's a good-looking stroke, too.
Splashes the 3. He's another one that's had an up-and-down season.
But that's the entire team. I mean, it's
Clock down to 6. Golding had McCall all over him.
Red ball. Three's off shooter. 0.
Foul on Melbourne. Joe Chul, that's his second. And Cairns will walk to the other end to shoot free throws.
Nobody is allowed to hold.
I hear what you're saying, but you can't clear him out. If he's holding you, get held, we'll call it. But once we see the clear out, what do you want me to do?
Listen, that one, get ready to come all the way down.
Sam Meninga, another under contract for next season with the Taipans. So the building blocks are there between Wardenberg, Meninga, Gack, Taron Armstrong.
And I like that, Jack. You got a lot of young talent. You put some high-quality imports around that, you know, you should be okay.
It is a 22-point lead to the Cairns Taipans at halftime. Their last game of the season. They're giving their fans a whole lot to get excited about right now. Derek Rucker.
Here with Tajir McCall, great first half. You brought the energy. What was the key defensively to holding United just to 35 points?
Just team defense and rebounding. Just play together.
You look a lot better, more energized. You've obviously had a good week of training, putting on a good show for this home crowd to finish out the season.
Yeah, it's been a good 3 years. Fans treated me right, so just trying to give them everything I got.
All right, Tajir.
Sounded very final as we head to halftime. It's 57-35. Taipans lead Melbourne United. Look at the halftime show. Coming up next on Friday Night Hoops.
It's not just about competition, it's about
feet at John Cain Arena. Loose ball. Wagstaff comes up with it. 7 seconds. Jordan Usher, a dagger right through the heart of Melbourne United. Clock stops with 4.9 remaining.
In this last quarter, he has stepped up big time.
Big time. Final play of the game. Dellavedova drives. Lays it out. Game one. Incredible drama. You wouldn't be dead for quits. Don't go anywhere. We are headed to overtime.
Just dunk it.
Bang! Just like that, the Wildcats season is back on track. A showpiece of this league that the entire world is seeing right now. Where else would you want to be? Ian Clark making big plays when they matter most. For the second time this season, Melbourne and Perth will play overtime. Quick shot from Melbourne. Ball in the hands of the right man. Another overtime classic.
You know, being able to match up against a team like Perth with the guys that they have on the other end, it brings the best out of you. And I think that's why you saw both games go to overtime. It's a fiery competitive game. You know, scrappy games on both ends, understanding the talent level that both teams have and the history. You know, both teams have done it before and won championships. So that's the game that we definitely want to take very seriously and make sure that we learn from it too, just in case we see them down the road, knowing the guys that they have and how to get used.
If that does happen, definitely would be a little bit more added motivation. I think for sure you never want to lose to your old team, especially in a final series. So if that is the case, yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
You know, there's those 2 games in my mind because the first one still hurts even more. Maybe they got a little bit of luck in the first one and maybe we got a little bit of luck in the second one. If we get the opportunity to play them in the finals, it'll be pretty exciting.
There is a long way to go in the season, but that is how it could all end up. Melbourne and Perth in the Championship Series. I think the Jack Jumpers and the Hawks and some other teams would like to have a say on that as well. But, well, based off what we've seen already this year, that could be tantalising.
Well, it would. It would be very tasty because they've had some great contests throughout the course of the season. But as you mentioned, right now, if you look at the form of some of these teams, the Jack Jumpers got to be right there in the mix. Now, I know they've lost a few extra games, but that's something outrageous. Their losses this year, their combined losses of 50-something points. I mean, it's just incredible. Every single contest, they're into the game up to their eyeballs. So they are going to be hard to beat, but that gives you goosebumps looking at that series and potentially what it could mean.
This is what we saw earlier tonight, Coach. 103-87 in an emotional night in Auckland. It could be Tom Abercrombie's last game in front of his home crowd. Breakers really turned up.
They turned up big, Jack. They came out and played extremely hard in that first half. Defense was great. They just look like a unit that you don't want to play in the playoffs, Jack. This team, when they're healthy, they can beat anybody. They're not healthy, they still can beat anybody. The way they play, the way these coaches coaching is doing.
Well, you look at the ladder, Parker Jackson Cartwright, he was a superstar as he's been all season to get him over the line, and that puts them in. So it's a great result, and they win on the weekend, and they could even go a little higher.
Yep, there's a world where, as you can see the rest of the round and what's coming up, there's a world where they could finish 4th, they could host a play-in, or they could be 6th and playing an away game as a play-in. Phoenix tomorrow night with Mitch Creek back in the lineup against the Sydney Kings, who have to win. If the Kings lose, all of a sudden, ta-da, things get very nervous for them.
Ta-da, Kings.
That's it. That's going to be a nervous time for the Kings because they don't have a lot to look back on in recent times about the level of confidence they're playing at, and they also know that what the Phoenix did to them a couple of weeks ago.
Phoenix have beat them twice.
They sure have.
That's right.
And good news for Perth as well. Christian Doolittle has been cleared to play tomorrow night against the Jack Jumpers. Whether he does, we shall wait and see. Hungry Jack's highlights. Tajir McCall has been outstanding. 9 points on 3 of 7, 5 rebounds, 6 assists.
He looks like the McCall of old. Coming out playing hard, got that traditional spin and 1 foul. He's fired up, got the fans going wild, making great passes, and even making a couple of nice shots.
We knew Derek Rucker was in form, but he was able to delve into Tajir McCall and deduct. All we can deduct from that is this is going to be his last game.
Yep.
For the Cairns Taipans, and he's going out with a bang. He's playing hard, and he's got that good body language, plenty of energy. He's finding people, but this is the story for Melbourne United. 0 of 10 from the 3-point line.
That's ugly, Jules.
A lot of the other numbers, they rebounds, assists, it's reasonably well, not so much in the assists, only 5 assists, but you can't get an assist if you can't put the ball in the hole. So that makes it really hard. And only 3 of 10 from the free throw line. They just a couple more 3-point baskets, a few more made free throws, and it's a whole different ball game.
It's the Taipans who lead by 22. That's right, 22 points at half-time over Melbourne United. The second half is coming up next in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
A week ago, I spent my life racing against time. This is an emergency. Get off the train. Who are you? What is going on? Get ready. Now. You're shut up. Maybe a little.
Bunnings is backing the next generation of bowlers.
Today we're going to have a heap of fun.
We're at the Sandringham Sabres.
The St Kilda Slammers put on a show today.
These bowlers from Redlands came out to see us a couple weeks ago.
They're huge basketball fans.
Today we welcome the Blackburn Vikings down to John Cain Arena. It's the boss man, Charlie!
Bunnings Warehouse done an amazing job getting all these families along, having all the kids there, 3,000 over the season, 14 games. Just being a part of it is going to be really special.
We're just returning the favor. We're excited to see their moves. Let's go, buddy! Yeah!
Hey! What up?
Hey, mate, son. Give me some love, brother.
Fuck it! There it is! One day I would love to play for the Cairns Taipans.
What are you guys most looking forward to when you come to an NBL game?
To see how you guys play.
Good job, everyone. Great job. Great job. High five. Keep up the work.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
3, 2, 1. Isn't that fantastic? Bunnings backing ballers has given thousands of junior basketballers across the country the opportunity to experience an NBL game day with their families and support their favourite teams. And a massive thanks, Copes, to Bunnings Warehouse for their support in backing junior ballers. It's so important.
Absolutely it is. I was at Bunnings the other day. went in to get me a barbecue grill.
Love it.
They got some quality stuff in there, Jackie.
Did you get a sausage?
Oh, yes, sir.
Have to, don't you?
With extra tomato sauce.
Yes, please. What looks different for Melbourne in this second half?
Well, more importantly than making shots, they got to play some defense on this other end. They got to slow Cairns down. Yeah, they're 0 for 10 from the three-point line, but you got to get stops.
Wardenberg got a blow to the throat, which meant an easy passage to the basket for Luala Chul Jr.
Let's go.
Still shaking off the effects of it, Sam Wardenberg. Miller, top of the key. Holding on Dellavedova. Seeing the body language of Dean Vickerman in the top part of his screen.
Yeah, he's still going to continue to coach as hard as he possibly can. Chris Golding. Oh, yeah, you can Luala Chul with a race. Elbow. A little lucky.
Minute gone in the third quarter. McCall scores. Travis did everything he could defensively. McCall just won that battle. Shea Ely marshalling the troops. Good look for Golding. It's off target. Kept alive though by Travis. Second chance for Melbourne and second chance for Golding. That doesn't go either.
0 and 12 and counting from the three-point line.
Foul on the Luala Chul Jr. and that'll be his third. So he has 3. Krebs has 3. Bowen has 3. And now we are starting to see a bit of genuine frustration from Melbourne.
I just don't like the way they look, the way they're playing, their attitude, their energy level. And it's not a massive deal, but you think if they're dedicated and they want to make a statement here, they'd come out and play a little bit harder this second half. So
Call leaves the second on the line. Derek Rucker, what are you seeing courtside?
Well, Andrew, this is one of those games where you love to analyze it because it's just all about shooting. One team is knocking down the shot. I would hate to see Melbourne United's true shooting percentage as Travers clangs another 3. And now the possession a couple of times ago, McCall finished and gave Travers the too small.
Yes.
Copes, if somebody did that to me, while factual, I would be highly incensed.
But Derek, we know you got game, bro. When they give you the too small, you coming back at them every time.
Good pass, Dellavedova. Luala Chul had the seal.
It's the first time they looked pretty smooth in transition, identified the mismatch, and took advantage of it.
Ball's been in constant motion. McCall takes it through Travers once more.
It's just not being
alive.
Yeah, they're just not being able to keep anyone in front of them the whole time off the dribble, bullying their way to the paint. They've got some good ones at it with McCall and Miller, but it's a little uncharacteristic of this Melbourne United team for what we've seen this season.
A reminder that Melbourne United have the best defensive rating of any team in the competition.
Hey, Pat.
And it has to happen on both ends of the floor. It just seems like because they're not shooting the ball well, they're not that engaged. And you can't play like that. Now, Melbourne United are in first place, so it's not a massive worry. But Illawarra coming to town on Sunday, Jack, and they're going to play just as hard.
They're walking on air right.
Absolutely they are.
They're as confident as any team in the league. And they think they can beat anyone.
100%. Derek spoke about it. You don't want to go into the break losing your last 2 games. I don't care what position you're in.
He's fouled. That time, Dellavedova. His first. Dean Vickerman has taken a team that last season weren't a part of any form of postseason action. Different team, different lineup, and they learned from the mistakes of last season.
Oh, they reloaded. They have reloaded. Anytime you can get two ex-NBA champions, Dellavedova and Clark. And that's an elbow, another elbow.
Well, the fans are giving the officials some advice. Here's Miller down low, and it was purely accidental.
Yep.
But that's the second time. I like the rim run by Luala-Chul. They're going to review it to see if there's an upgrade, but to me it was just the difference in height. He didn't intentionally swing his arm. He certainly got him. Miller sees the funny side of it. He's just wanting to post up because he knows he's got the advantage. Throw it up there anywhere, which we saw 2 plays ago, and it was an easy layup.
That's what they call mouse in the house.
Fan in the front row certainly wasn't happy with it. She was ready to jump the...
Mouse went away squealing. But gets the cheese, and he's up the other end. Feeling very good about himself.
Oh, Lord.
Really wasn't sure where you were going for a second there.
Again, well, this is clearly what they're trying to do. Up the tempo. It's clearly a lot easier to get your running game going when you're not taking it out of the net. And just the rim running. For Luala-Chul for the pass or creating space, and it's been effective. Good start by Melbourne United.
6:17 to play in the third, and Melbourne are now already over the limit. So every foul for the remainder of the quarter, and Cairns will be shooting free throws.
Dean didn't seem too worried, does he?
Well, I think that he would be looking at this and seeing, well, perhaps this is a sign that our intensity's lifted. Sure, we've come away with some fouls, but
to Cairns' credit, though, every time there's been a little bit of a run from Melbourne, they've been able to steady the ship. Golding blocked. And Hook Porty cleans up the scraps.
Golding is 1 for 9.
Takes it back to a 19-point game. Bobby Clintman, the next star, and it should be his final game for the Taipans, back out there too. Dellavedova picks up his third, and the Taipans will be at the stripe.
8 on the 4-up. Bonus 2 shot.
Delhi looked like he was running the bench wanting that to be reviewed. Ladder predictor, that's a must-have for all the basketball fans out there, because there's that many different
driving me crazy, though, Jack. It's driving me crazy.
Even pre-game in our little sort of area at the back, how much time do we spend on it, and all the different combinations? And that's been awesome. Been such a good addition to the NBL website. It's had over 20,000 hits since it's jumped online.
I reckon bring it in a bit earlier next year.
I think you'll be there all the time, Coach, next year.
Lovely.
You can start in round 1 next year if you want and predict all 20 rounds and see where you land.
There you go.
Big thanks to Mitsubishi. Glad to have them involved in that. Dellavedova trying to find a cut of the pass, was almost spot on. It's been that kind of night for Melbourne, very clunky. Clintman down the lane. It's pass for McCall, who has a fumble. And eventually travels.
Well, McCall, he's been active, and we know he can be a little turnover prone. He's got 3 already in the contest so far, but I like the ball movement. In contrast, down the other end, Cairns Taipans, a lot of top blocking, really making it uncomfortable for Melbourne United to get their preferred spots, and they're getting the rewards.
What does Adam Ford do with Bobby Clintman from here on in, Coach? We said it's going to be his last game for the Taipans. You just let him go now in this last half. Get as many minutes as possible with some scouts in the building.
Let him play until he can't play anymore. Get him a couple of shots. Let's see what he can do. I mean,
well, that's right. I agree. I think you're just going to play him out. He's been pretty solid here. He's got the 9 points, 3 or 4 from the field. But while you've got this margin as well, you can afford to live with some errors, and it's all, of course, with no bull qual. He comes in and provides a bit of an offensive punch.
Derek Rucker, what are you thinking?
Well, it's interesting how Cairns looks so much more focused, and the rotations are very stable tonight. And I wonder if it's the case sometimes with the Taipans where Adam Ford has too many young options to go to, and many of those guys not established pros, so it creates a bit of confusion in which lineups he would like to go with.
They're picking them off here, Derek. They got it through their set, that empty side with a simple on ball and a help, and you got Roberts who can go upstairs and just get it to him. It's all too easy.
Bowen fouled with the extra coming from the line. So that's an interesting point that Ruck just brings up. We were just talking about the learnings that Dean Vickerman made from last season and the way that they constructed their roster this season. What are the learnings for Adam Ford, do you think, going into next season?
Well, he signed a bunch of young guys who I think will be talented, will be very good next year. I think you got to put the right pieces. You got to put, if you're going to go after some imports, you have to be very good imports you put around these young boys with the right attitude, and you go from there. I mean,
yeah, you're thinking and you're planning, if you're Adam Ford, you hopefully be able to retain these guys for 2 or 3 years, put some solid imports alongside them, and give yourself a chance to contend for a title. They don't have the margin for error of some of the other teams. But they've got some great young talent. I think Miller's one that you'd want to look to try and keep hold of. Maybe invest in another next star.
Judging from the halftime interview, it looks like one import spot will be available for the next season.
And the way they've used Roberts this season, I think it's highly unlikely he's going to be coming back. That's going to be
foul will be on Clintman. That's his 4th.
Yeah. It'd be a wonderful experience for Clintman too, to come to another country, play at a really high level. Just pushed in the back. Might have been a little mayo put on it by Bowen, but can't extend your arms out like that and think you're going to get away with it.
Taipans by 17. The lead was as much as 23. In the early stages of the 3rd term. Bowen with that one-handed push.
Oh, 16 now. Just so we're playing along at home.
Is that a record? That wouldn't be a record, would it? Not yet.
Nah, we've done a hell of a lot worse than that. Some teams across the journey.
Great. That was great from Miller.
Certainly in recent times, it'd be unusual territory.
Game, 0 for 16.
For United.
At what stage do you stop shooting?
Call all up and in on Golding. Likewise, Menenga on Bowen. He was good enough to crack the code and score.
That's a tough move. Great offensive move there.
Matt Mahan back into the game. That's nice. Good touch, a 40% three-point shooter across the season.
He can fill it up.
And they've got the counter. Anytime Melbourne United just seem like they start to make some inroads, they come up with a big offensive play, the Taipans.
Two minutes 30 remaining in his 3rd term. Porty swats that out of there. Clark with McCall. He only one ahead. Perceived pressure was enough. you looking at the sixth man of the year, Ian Clark?
It's going to be a contender.
100% he's a contender. I like him. Sean McDonough from Tasmania, I like him as well.
Very, very good season, Ian Clark. 13.5 points a game. Shooting really well too. Fourth in the competition from the perimeter.
Oh, he's a superstar. No doubt about it. And plays great defense on the other end as well. Doesn't talk a lot about his defense because he's such a good shooter, but yeah. He's a quality player.
Not blue 15 on his arm.
This Melbourne United team have got, what, 6 guys averaging in double figures? It's hard to comprehend how they've only got 52 points. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third. And Ian Clark's the only player in double figures. Clearly a 1 of 9 from Chris Golding is uncharacteristic. We saw a similar performance against the Jack Jumpers earlier on in the season.
16, yeah.
Where he found that they're going tough.
And what do you, if this continues, what do you say after the game, Drew?
Well, I think they got to review it real quickly and turn their mind to Sunday.
The Hawks.
And up against the Hawks, the team that's playing with tremendous confidence. Hawks have got a bit to play for as well with their positioning.
He could finish as high as 4th. Really from the elbow. Left that one short. Derek Rucker courtside.
And Andrew, as this one stays ugly from a Melbourne United perspective, Miller pull up and 1 foul, JLA. Drew, I thought you'd be on the NBL Plus website checking the archives for least 3-pointers made in a game. We're at 0 for 16.
Yes.
Copes, you can't stop shooting now because you're down. The numbers, the math won't add up. You got to keep pulling the trigger and hope that they start hitting some. I mean, not some, but a lot.
They do. No, you're spot on. And well, Jackie Boy's the one that can work the stats and a little bit with a bit more pace than what I can. But there's Joe Lawal, Achul, ta-da, 5 fouls, have a spell. This is well and truly getting away from Melbourne United. They gave a little yelp, cut it to 17 a couple of times. That's about it.
And that really is about it. Adam Ford wants his man to keep pushing the tempo. Whatever they've been doing across 3 games this season, Melbourne haven't been able to work them out. Shot clock at 5. Miller off the front of the iron.
Oh dear. Shea was the right idea, but just a horrific pass trying to throw the alley-oop to Ariel Hukporti. And here's another one that I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. He's keen at the end of the season to go back and actually wants to try and head back to Europe and pick up an opportunity with one of the bigger teams in Spain. Have to get with Real Madrid. He was saying it's like a boyhood dream to go play with Real Madrid.
Here he is, the big man with the steal, and then ran the floor. Ariel Hukporti, the 7-footer.
Nice. That's what excites, I think, a lot of people in the NBA. You got a big fella that can run the floor like that, still good body control to finish it.
Apparently he jumps higher now than he did before he had the big injury last year.
Achilles.
He's certainly a professional.
Hustle there. Prepared to get down and dirty in the lanes, despite the margin. That control at the end for the big fella. That's impressive.
We've get to play a lot of minutes in the back end of this game. Joe Chul Jr. is fouled out. 77-54. What a turn-up this is. The Cairns Taipans have been unrelenting all night long, and that expression from Dean Vickerman tells the story. Three-quarter time, it's Friday Night Hoops at the Cairns Convention Centre. Three-quarter time, it's the Cairns Taipans who lead 77-54 over Melbourne United. They led by 13 at quarter time, 22 at the half, and they increased their lead by 1 in that third term. They've been all over the ladder leagues.
They have been, and they've had success with this team all year long. It's the way they play. Now, Melbourne don't need to win, but they need to be playing better than this. I can't say that enough.
John Chul Jr. has fouled out. No further part in the game. Dellavedova, mid-ranger, has 8 points. It sounds a bit silly when we're talking about a team that are 19-7 for the season, but are you just trying to win the last quarter? Just take something away from tonight?
You want to, I'm sure Dean would want to take something away. Shut him down. Don't let him score more than 15, 20 points. See if you can get something out of it.
2 more for Hook Porty. He has 9. He has 4 rebounds. Nenga attracting a little more attention from the perimeter, but can't score from underneath.
Great pass. Smoked the layup.
Just want to be a little careful because they are over 16. They're now 1 of 17. They don't want to get themselves into a situation where
I'm not sure that was a 3, Drew. It looked like
gets nervous.
Foot was on the line on that shot. No, he got it down as a 3, but yeah, I think the referees are checking it now as well.
Okay. Well, you're right. It hasn't gone down on the stats here, and they're going to have a look at it right now.
Well, Adam Ford has seen enough. We've only been going a minute and a half in the fourth. He wants time. 79-62 at the Cairns Convention Centre. Okay, they've made some inroads.
They have. Dean would have had a message for them. Look, guys, let's get something out of this fourth quarter. get some stops, get some easy baskets, work on this, work on that.
Derek Rucker courtside.
Well, we remember a game earlier this year where Brisbane were up big on Cairns, and Cairns made a furious run in the fourth quarter to make it a tight game. Certainly Melbourne United have that in them tonight, but it's going to take about, Andrew, I estimate 5 threes in this fourth quarter from Melbourne United.
Well, Matthew Dellavedova, it did count, so they're 1 of 17 so far.
Been a better start from Melbourne in the fourth. They've got it back to 17. Matthew Dellavedova.
That was close, wasn't it?
That was extremely close.
So confirming that 79-63 is the score. It was a 3-ball for Delhi, their first of the night.
Quite incredible.
So in other words, if I'm playing Melbourne, if I run them off the three-point line or I shut their threes down, I give myself a chance.
Well, I think in this league, if you can get a team 0 of 16, you're going to give yourself a chance no matter who you're
Of course, but I'm saying Melbourne is so good at that three-point
No,
shooting.
you're right. That's true.
Let's try to run them off the three-point line and make them shoot twos.
Well, they've been one of the better teams at 36.5% on the season. New Zealand Breakers are the leading three-point shooting team, followed by the Jackies, 37.9. And Ian Clark thinks there's a leg kick out.
Blue 21. Block. 2.
All smiles on the Taipans bench. Looks a lot different to what it looked in Perth last Saturday.
And teams go through things. I mean, every team, even Melbourne United would have things that they go through in the locker room. And I know we had plenty of issues in Sydney.
Of course, every team.
But every team goes through them.
Well, you know, even back when we were playing, you have those issues from time to time. But
yeah, me and you got in it a couple of times. You wanted the ball. I thought maybe you didn't play enough defense.
You still think that to this day?
100%, but 100. But, you know, some people are just not built to play deep. So, you know.
I feel like this team's about to go through something right now, to be honest. It's a little uncomfortable in here. I can leave if you want. You two can sort it out.
No. He made up on it on the other end, though. I got to admit.
For everyone watching, this is what it's like when you play golf with these two as well. It is identical. Dellavedova backs in. It's back to 15.
That's what I'm saying. This next 3 minutes will decide whether we've got a ball game. Derek Rucker thinks that about 5 threes they need in this last quarter to give themselves a chance, and I think the maths make a bit of sense. So it's they're the lucky breaks that have gone the way of the Cairns Taipans, which help just ease the tension.
The quarter-by-quarter breakdowns, bottom part of your screen. 11-5 in the fourth quarter in favour of Melbourne.
They're picking on the young fella. Delhi's going at him.
Blake Clark swings to Kyle Bowen. Offensive rebound by Flynn Cameron. No one went at him. Porty closes the lid.
Well, he does. It was spinning on the rim. Not sure it was.
That could have gone.
If that might have robbed them of a three-pointer.
11-5 for Ariel Hook-Porty. Good numbers tonight. Tajir McCall. Here's 16. Cairns' leading scorer for the night is Pat Miller.
He's got 8 assists as well, so the ball's been in his hands. And there's the second three of the quarter and the game. And Derek's number of 5 just a little closer.
Not that time for McCall. Melbourne surge forward. Little hezzy from Clark, and then the layup.
We've got a 12-point ball game with time still in favour of the Melbourne United.
And where was this energy in the first 3 quarters, though, Drew?
Well, I think the energy, you can see it's gone off from the Cairns Taipans. That's been the big difference, and it's opened up just a small crack. 12.6 minutes to go. That is absolutely within distance for Melbourne United.
Of course it is.
It's been a week. Sorry, Coach.
If they're playing with this energy, it is.
It's been a week that's had some emotion attached for Melbourne United, a man that you two know very, very well, and a 20-year career for Brad Newley will come to an end once this NBL24 season is complete. Let's take a listen.
Not a big surprise to probably most of you, but I'm going to retire at the conclusion of this season. I'm immensely grateful for the opportunities this sport has afforded me. It's taken me to places I've never imagined, allowed me to meet incredible people and taught me invaluable lessons about dedication, perseverance and resilience. As I start a new chapter in my life, it's going to be a bit strange. It's been 20 years, but I do so with a heart full of memories and a deep sense of pride in everything that I've accomplished. I'd also like to thank my wife and my kids. Kids didn't probably get to see the highlights that I used to do, but I guess that's what the internet's for. Thanks to basketball, thanks to you guys for allowing me to live out my dream of being a professional basketball player. And now there's just one more job to do, boys. Let's get that ring.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Brad, I'm lucky enough to play against Brad.
Yeah, in the early days.
Early days, and he was a machine back then. Get that ball off the glass and take it coast to coast.
Two-time Olympian as well. He's had a wonderful career. I think it was 9 seasons in Europe, Greece, Turkey, Lithuania, Spain. And so with the Crocs, the Kings, and now with Melbourne United.
Number 3. It's a 2.
Well, Adam Ford's hoping it's a 2. He wanted that one reviewed.
Took the chance to chat to Brad Newley on the NBL Now podcast. He said the one thing he's never done is win a championship. He would love to go out with a ring.
And he
certainly deserves himself.
Certainly deserves one. For all the time and effort he's put into this game.
They're one of the fiercest competitors. What a great pass. And that's the counter for the top block. The back cut, throw it at the rim. Well done by Daly to recognise it. And Ian Clark to get there.
20 points for Clark. He's now the game's leading scorer. It's off the back of 18 last week in their win over New Zealand. Still a long way to go in this game. Momentum for the first time tonight has been with Melbourne, but blocked. Wardenberg says no.
And this run coming with Chris Golding on the bench. We take a look at the Harvey Norman replay. That's the back. You couldn't see it from the other side, but Miller was trying to stop him from using the screen. Daly didn't hide what he was doing. One hand just pointed to him and said, get to the rim. And that's that floor general that Derek was talking about a little earlier in the contest, that Daly, the way in which he can run the team on the offensive end and distribute the ball.
Krebs doesn't get it to drop. Hook Porty takes care of it.
Tell you what, Cairns better be careful here.
I said that, and we're in single digits now, where the worry bead should well and truly be out.
Cairns' first score of this final quarter, they led by 23 points. It's now back to 9.
There it is here. Well, there's definitely contact, isn't there? One of the hardest things that you've got to decide.
Derek Rucker courtside.
That happened right in front of me, guys. I'm almost certain that was a charge. And if it was line ball, Shea Illy, doesn't he have any equity in this league as a defender? He gets that call, Coach.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Oh dear, 3 ball here would get the valve very tight.
Which valve is that?
It's probably, I think we're still in family hours, aren't we? Miller reaching in is foul. You're a bad man, Leonard Cope.
Oh, man, oh, man.
Wow. This has just been free-flowing, and sure, Melbourne United hit some shots. Chris Golding coming back in. But there's no doubt from my eyes that the Cairns Taipans have taken the foot off the gas.
Well, that's been their season all year long. They're up, they're down. It's been real inconsistent throughout the year. And a lot of that is because of the young players, because of the different lineups, who he's playing, who's not playing.
7 points the difference.
Wow. What was it, 25?
23.
23?
25 at the back end of the third quarter, and then 23, as we mentioned, with the opening bucket of this fourth term. Melbourne looked absolutely dead and buried. This game is very live all of a sudden. Miller has to kick it out. Wardenberg with one on the clock. Oh, almost his second bomb of the night.
Wow. Tell you what, if Melbourne come down and score here, you better get a timeout.
He's only got the one more. He's already burnt 2. Oh, dear.
That is the last thing the Taipans need.
Here we go. Where was this energy for 3 quarters? They got it going now.
4-point game.
Derek said they needed 5 threes. They've got 4 in the quarter.
What a comeback this is from United. Much needed bucket for Cairns.
I think Vickerman wants to chat about it. Still plenty of time. And momentum well and truly in favour of Melbourne United. It's a 30-13 quarter. Wow. It's taken a while for him to get going, but you can see how potent it can be for Melbourne United when it starts to click.
2 minutes and 33 remaining. 90-84, the Cairns Taipans lead, and they've watched their plus 20 lead evaporate.
Man, Cairns lose this game. I'm asking for them. Take my jerseys off as you're on the way out. Just leave my jerseys right there. That's it.
Now, this is a little talking point from the game so far. Let's go back to halftime. Derek Rucker's interview with Tajir McCall.
Putting on a good show for this home crowd to finish out the season.
Yeah, it's been a good 3 years. Fans treated me right, so just trying to give them everything I got.
Well, to me, that is an indication that this is going to be his last go-around with the Cairns Taipans. Now, you know, it's one sentence, but you look at the way he delivered it.
Sure, you're so diplomatic. My man saying, ta-da, I'm out of here.
Yep.
That's my last go-around. I'm going to give you all I got. I'm gone. That's what it sounds like.
I did have an element to it, Jack, as the journalist in you. And
hardly, but I'm also a living human who has ears and could hear what he said. And
no, it definitely.
Unless things change, unless there's a a get together and a beer after the season and a handshake and a hug.
Well, I reckon they've already done that.
Well,
based on what we saw last week against the Wildcats and the way in which it's been played today.
He almost travelled. Tony Krebs turns around and fires away. Yeah, I don't think you need to be a mathematician to deduct that Tajir McCall may not be in Far North Queensland next season.
Are there other teams that would look at him, Joey?
Well, he's got experience. I think that you look at his assets, there's a lot that he brings to the table. Look at him tonight. 9 assists, 20 points, 8 of 17 points, 8 of 17 from the field. He's a little inconsistent from the perimeter. That's a push-off. And Melbourne United is still alive.
Certainly are. Under 2 minutes remaining. Next star v next star. Hook Porty goes to work on Clintman. Got to his left hand and hammers it down.
That's a grown man dunk right there. That is a grown man dunk. In your face, young fella.
Ariel Hook Porty is making the most of these extra minutes in the second half.
Wow, Jack, that's a big dunk.
It is. And again, Cairns Taipans come up with a relatively easy one.
Golding forces up a tough three. That's a tough shot.
He was trying to draw the foul.
And McCall does exactly that at the other end.
Look at this. Porty down low, just gets to his spot. Look at the drop step, crossover step, goes up with two hands, and that's power.
Extra spice on it too. Bang, bang. Take this. See you next week.
And that's too big. That's a big body going down low. They need to send some help. And, well, in case you're not aware, Scottie Pippen's coming to town with Horace Grant and Luke Holland.
Joey, are you planning on doing anything with Scottie when he comes this time?
I'm hoping to catch up with him. He's keen to catch up.
He called me the other day. Said, look, man, tell your man.
No, he didn't.
Tell your man that he please keep his hands off me. He just, I felt violated.
Felt very one-way bonding to me.
Were you there, Jack? Did you see it?
I was uncomfortable.
Oh. No, that's not true. You saw it firsthand.
Jack said I was uncomfortable.
It's an offensive foul. Hang on, boys. Offensive foul, push off on Chris Golding. It's on Armstrong. Armstrong saying he was holding me. Look at this, right side of your screen.
You're not allowed to stand up and ask me questions. Sit down.
Oh my goodness.
That must be his assistant coach. I think I got that last 1 year.
That was just two guys coming together. Oh dear.
Oh, wow. Well, you got to be impressed with the way they played this fourth quarter, though. You got to, I mean, Dean would certainly be happy with the energy level in this fourth quarter.
They're coming together here. Well, Taron Armstrong does, I guess, maybe in slow-mo. He was just coming in to get to his spot to set a screen on Porty. So, pushing foul, I assume, was on Taron Armstrong.
Derek Rucker in this snooze timeout.
Well, you don't want to play the Cairns Taipans basically on 2 dates. New Year's Eve and their last game of the season at home. Over the years, they've traditionally been very strong. Melbourne United have been the victims of that twice this season. Crazy how that turns out. The other thing is, will this ease Dean Vickerman's anger on that flight all the way back to Melbourne, Copes?
It's a long flight, Derek, let me tell you. That's a long flight. Knowing Dean, he'll have a computer in his hand, looking at every single play.
Possibly, but I think he'll turn his attention real quickly. They'll go through this review for sure, but turn it real quickly to what has to take place in front of him. I think it's almost another sellout, Jack.
It is a sellout.
It is a sellout. Well done.
Clark off the inbound, quick three.
That's the one. Pretty safe now.
Not yet. Turnover by McCall. Dellavedova left wide open. This time, they need to look after the basketball a little better. United have got fouls to give.
He just hasn't been able to get it going from the three-point line. There was big raps on in the off-season about how the work he's been done, and I don't doubt that he is one of the hardest workers in the competition, but only able to connect on 24%. And Derek, I remember when we were up and watching him play the Bullets, you saw him in the pre-game, and you weren't overly impressed of the way he's knocking down the three ball as he prepared.
No, certainly the technique probably needs some remodeling, Drewy. I think there's still room for him to be a good shooter. Physically, he doesn't look like he's aging poorly, Andrew. No. So I think he can really add a lot of value to this Melbourne United franchise for years to come still. But the shooting is something that can really, surprisingly at his age, still complete his game.
Spot on. And to his credit, he has over the years tried to tinker with his shooting technique.
He's actually taking more shots, though, isn't he? He's taking more shots this year than he did the last time he was here.
Well, he's averaging almost 4 attempts, 3.5 attempts a game.
Off is one trap. We fell out of the trap. They're trying to steal it.
Four of 25 from the three-point line for Melbourne United.
Only one.
Shoot at 36% across the season. McCall takes care of the second. It's another high score for the Taipans. The second time they put 95 on Melbourne United. The other was 115 in round 9. And they can soak all this up. Walk to the other end, and Pat Miller, who's been a phenomenon for them this season, will shoot free throws.
What is, I don't know if this is the type of performance that they thought they were going to get from Miller when they signed him. Thinking that he was...
Apparently he was going to be a backup, wasn't he?
Yeah, Taron Armstrong was going to be the main ball carrier, and that, he'd have an important role, but he has just been incredibly solid. 19 points a game.
6 assists.
His numbers have been exceptional.
Top 10 in the league at points per game, assists and steals.
That will get your attention.
He has had an excellent first season here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
That should do us.
And that will get it done. A week is a long time in basketball. It was doom and gloom last Saturday in Perth. But Cairns rally together one last time and win on their home court, 97-88. Their NBL24 campaign comes to a close with a win.
And full credit to the Cairns Taipans. These are the types of games you could be excused for saying our season's over, but they showed great character. And Tajir McCall with the 23 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, just 1 rebound off a triple-double. So after being in the doghouse last week, he's in the penthouse this week and goes to Foot Locker and is going to pick up some very nice gear, courtesy of the very fine people at Foot Locker.
Well said, Joey.
And Miller was also in this one strong. 20 points, 7 of 16. These are character games for the Cairns Taipans, and they showed great character, the way in which that they approached it with vigour, with determination, and a commitment to the fans and respect to the game, which you can't help but admire.
Melbourne certainly have the talent to win it all. They just waited too late to make their run up. That fourth quarter, they came out looking like a much different team. Their attitude, their energy level, knocked down some threes. So
we've been singing the praises of Pat Miller and his season that he's had with the Cairns Taipans, and he's with Derek Rucker.
Pat Miller, outstanding game, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. A very strong finish by you personally to send these Taipans fans home happy to end the season.
Yeah, I feel like I play hard the whole season. Regardless of the wins and losses, I left it out there, injured, playing hurt. I got a torn ligament in my finger, still was playing, never told nobody about it. But I think we just fought, man. I think it was a good matchup against that team. It's hard to beat the best team 3 times, and we did that. But I just think it was a lot of negativity around us, man, the up and down of the season. And I think it affected us as a team, and I don't think nobody really addressed it. But I think it was bigger than what it really was, because it wasn't nothing. But I'm glad we got a win the last game for the fans. I had a great year this year in the NBL, so I enjoyed being here, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Well, you certainly developed and turned yourself into a fan favorite with your play, and certainly I'm sure all the Taipans fans are quite proud of your achievements this season. Melbourne United, why did you guys have such dominance over them throughout the season?
Guard play, I think. It started with the guards we got, me and Taj. So I think it started with us, and I think it's just a tough matchup for them guarding us. I think I'm the toughest guard to guard in the league. And I think I just, get up for the game against them. And I just want to, keep playing good, play my game. And I think that leads and that carries over to the team. And I think we just be fired up to play them.
Well, you took exception to some comments I made about your play last week. That's understandable. But a true great player comes out and answers his critics just like you did tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it, yeah. And I feel like I was doing that all season. And, yeah, I just wanted to keep playing. And that's why I said I was playing the same way no matter what hard. I think I've been playing harder than I've been the whole season, the last couple of games, because I knew my back was against the wall. So, yeah, I just let my game do the talking. Been going under the radar my whole life. And I came to this league. I feel like I made a statement, and we're going to see, what happens in my future here in the league.
Thank you, Pat.
Wow, the debrief.
What to unpack with that?
Of the Cairns Taipans NBL24 season. Well, it's going to take some time, but they win tonight. And they finish the season on a happy note, we think. 97-88, they get the job done. We're back to wrap it up after this.